Well, here we go. Officials Lisa Jones, Darren Kraszeznik, and Ty Bills. Off we go in Corvallis. Hold on a minute. Got a violation on Eastern Washington, so it'll be Oregon State basketball in this opening possession of the game in this first round NCAA tournament matchup. Again, both of these teams did not make the tournament a season ago. Eastern Washington's first NCAA tournament since 1987.
Woo!
They're back in business.
1987. And I'll tell you what, they love defense, so no worries starting off in a defensive possession here after that violation.
Best defensive team in the Big Sky, but they're going to have their hands full guarding Reagan Beavers down low today.
Yeah, Beavers, she's dangerous, a problem. She sets herself up to score so easily. It's a luxury for the guards on the team. She just makes their job so easy when it comes to passing it into her.
Her initial positioning is so tough to defend. Aaliyah Alexander, a consistent force in the starting lineup for Eastern Washington over the last few years with the ball right now. Trying to step in tight and got a pretty roll down low.
The Eagles, they love dribble penetration. That's what they want to do, 4 out, 1 in. And Alexander, we saw there, she's so athletic, such a hard guard. And Beers, a hard guard as well.
2 possessions, 2 Beers buckets for Oregon State.
You look at the way she carves out space. She just makes it look so easy. I mean, I don't even want any parts of that.
No. Millie Knowles has the task of going up against her down low. This Eastern Washington group coming off a Big Sky tournament victory in the championship game against Northern Arizona. We'd like to welcome those of you who just watched Baylor get the victory to Gill Coliseum for this first round matchup between Oregon State and Eastern Washington, the 14 seed taking on the 3 seed. These games are part of the Regional 1 in Albany. First of 2 matchups here in Corvallis today. The 3 from Buckley, this Eastern Washington team playing in their first NCAA tournament since 1987. And boy, are they happy to be back in the big dance. Oregon State did not make the tournament last year, a 2-year hiatus for a program that has been so consistent over the last decade. Talia von Olhoffen with the basketball right now, key part of the reason why they are back. Beers had that slip through her hands. Jason Ross Jr. and Asia Ellison with you here in Corvallis. Texas A&M and Nebraska will be the next matchup. Loetta drains a 3. That's the Big Sky, not only player of the year, but also defensive player of the year, and she has come to play.
And she's pass first guard. She facilitates the offense, but that right there is exactly what she needs to do. Be more aggressive in her attack, put points up on the board as well.
Jamie Loetta with it right now, averaging 13 points per game. Can go off on a moment's notice. And she's been aggressive early on. Her team with an early 1-point lead. Oregon State had a semifinal loss in the Pac-12 tournament to Stanford. Pull up from Loetta, back-to-back buckets for Jamie Loetta.
A 3-level scorer. She can shoot it from 3 in that mid-range. She can make some money right there too. So coming off those ball screens, she can get right there to the nail. That is nasty.
Tamia Gardner, Pac-12 6th player of the year. Loose ball for Donovan Hunter. Stripped out of bounds. It'll stick with the Beavers. Talk about Eastern Washington's historic season. There's their head coach, Jody Gleason, her 3rd season at the helm. It's a 10-win jump from last year. Last year was a 10-win jump from the prior year. They have built up to this moment that means so much for their community to be back in the NCAA tournament.
And Coach Gleason said, we want to be the #1 team in the country in culture. And that just demonstrates their tenacity, their work ethic, their togetherness out there on the floor.
Trying to get a steal down low, Asia. They worked on that in practice yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. They know exactly where the ball is going. So you want to hackle not just Beers on the inside, but more importantly, you want to get hands in the face of the guard, and that's exactly what Loetta did, able to deflect that pass.
Got a foul called down low this time. We'll get Jadia Martin, as you see Scott Ruick on your screen there. Pac-12 Coach of the Year by League Media, a team that was picked 10th in the Pac-12 preseason poll. They believed here in Corvallis before anyone else believed they could have the season that they pieced together. Here's the offensive board. She's got 6 points early on, all 6 of Oregon State's points. quick foul, the opposite direction. Another look at that inbound play.
Just execution here. Missed shot, Beers. The way she just carves out space, the block out, she makes it look so easy, but I'll tell you what, for the defender, it's an absolute nightmare. It is a hard box out. She's just got such a strong body. You really got to do your work early and blocks her out.
Loetta, that was an open look, a rare miss for her. You called it the duck, right, for Beers?
Yes,
Down
Beers
low?
has, yep, her duck in is something serious. She lulls you to sleep and ducks in and posts you up so hard. She gets her foot over defender's foot. She has both arms up, all 15. Her numbers are facing the passer. Makes it so easy for that post entry play.
We got a couple of good number 15s today, right? Reagan Beers and Jamie Loetta. Bella Hayes with the basketball right now, redshirt freshman from Alaska. Pettis tried to drop it back to her. Beers, easy pickings. Now back comes the freshman Donovan Hunter, who does not play like a freshman. Plays beyond her years, has started every game this year. That's tapped away from Reese, and back comes Eastern Washington. Pettis at the controls, Pettis on the pull-up.
Yep, that's exactly what the Eagles want to do. Defensive stop to score, get an easy bucket in transition, and Pettis, another player that's very good in the mid-range game.
Oregon State went 24-7 this season, 12-6 in Pac-12 play. Got a foul down low called on Bella Hayes. It's an early 9-6 lead for Eastern Washington, the 14th seed, with an upset on their mind in Corvallis. She's got all 6 for Oregon State early, but her team down 3. As you see her numbers this year, averaging a double-double, just has been sensational. It's an Oregon State team that had so much individual improvement, and they said when we were picked to finish 10th in the preseason poll in the Pac-12, there wasn't really a reason for people to believe in us. We only won 13 games last year, but the 3 in the corner is well short, may have been deflected. Loetta's got a 2-on-1 with Pettis, and that kicked off the foot of Kennedy Schuler.
And I want to point out, too, you talk about Oregon State and how they performed in the league, Beers and, what she was able to do. You got to remember, Pac-12 is such a tough conference. Yes. So that alludes to just how talented Beers is and how talented the Beavers are all around.
These are 2 teams that played a season ago as Jaleesa Lawrence checks in. It was a 7-point Oregon State win. Naturally, the coaches would tell you a matchup a year ago, you're not looking at it that much, but these 2 teams did return a lot of players from that matchup last year. If anything, Eastern Washington knows they can play in this building, and they know they can play against Oregon State. That was a nice block, though, on the part of Lily Hansford. Used all 6'2" there of her length.
Super nice, and that's exactly what they're going to need. And, the Eagles, they're coming off a 13-game win streak, so all they do is win no matter what. They're used to that type of culture.
So far, Beers still with all the points for Oregon State. Fading and getting that to rattle home is Marat.
So many different weapons for the Beavers that can shoot it from beyond the arc. They've got tremendous mid-range game. You have to pick your poison. If one person's not scoring, better believe someone else is going to step in.
That's A.J. Marat's forte, knocking down the mid-range jumpers, and that wasn't an easy one. Saw the resume for Eastern Washington, 29 wins, 10 more than they had a season ago, 13 straight entering this first-round game. A travel called on Aaliyah Alexander.
Have another look here, just such a nasty block. And I talked about Hansford in their shoot-around. She's like, her height is so deceiving. She has so much length, so you can't sleep on that at all because she'll get up and block it.
She'll play upwards of 30 minutes a game for this Oregon State team. Here's Marat working this time against Lawrence, and a foul called on Eastern Washington. They'll get the Idaho native Lawrence on the foul there. A couple of substitutions for the Beavers. Dominika Parova checks in. Tamia Gardner back in, along with Talia van Olhoffen.
And that's what we've seen early on from both teams. Substitutions, they have the luxury of going very deep into their bench, which is needed in tournament time.
Another Oregon State turnover. This Eastern Washington team has done well themselves to protect the basketball, and they forced 6 early turnovers for the Beavers in this one. Loetta, the Big Sky Player of the Year, perusing. See who this will go to. Looks like it's going to stick at this end for Eastern Washington. Eastern Washington also had a separate 10-game win streak this season from their current 13-game win streak. Have had a couple of blimps here and there, but for the most part, it has been incredibly consistent. The chemistry has been impeccable. Oh, what an up and under scoop shot there from Loetta in her bag early.
I mean, that's the talent, and you're seeing it on both ends of the floor, getting steals and then making circus shots on the other end.
Quick answer from Parova, the birthday girl, celebrating a birthday, and there's a birthday bucket for her.
Yeah, Miss 19. Happy birthday. Shout out to Parova. Her family's here. They're in the building, so I know she's going to show up and show out and put on for her country. Her
family traveled all the way from the Czech Republic for this one. Loetta continues to shoot her shot and make her shots.
I'm mad if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I love how aggressive she's being offensively on the tack, just continuing to get to that mid-range.
Another Oregon State turnover. It's going to be the 7th. Let's look at the Loetta circus shot. I mean, anything's going down right now.
And anything, exactly. I love it. The reverse layup, bouncing in. Everything is looking so good for Loetta. She puts so much pressure on the one-on-one defense, especially off the bounce. You're going to have to keep her in front of you.
Pursuing her master's at Eastern Washington, began her career at Arizona State, where Scott Ruick, the Oregon State head coach, coached against her. So he's seen her before, knows how much of a problem she can be. Quick feed, and Martin books a three. It's a hot start for the 14 seed Eastern Washington on the road in Corvallis.
Everything is clicking. And what did Coach Gleason tell us? They've had, their biggest issue has been they've been having to come back in games. They start slow, but not tonight. They are ready.
Von Oldhoffen was blocked, and now Eastern Washington's pushing the pace the other way. Quick crossover from Lawrence. Looks like they got a foul on the drive. All smiles on Eastern Washington faces right now. And groans moaning down from the Oregon State faithful. As you see, these teams are part of the Regional 1 in Albany. Oregon State, Washington, 3 versus 14. Nebraska and Texas A&M will follow. These teams all vying for a ticket to Sunday's second round here in Corvallis. Loetta again, same result.
Yeah, the Beavers, they're going to have to lock in, make some adjustments on that scouting report. Can't get it too easy for Loetta.
Loetta has 11 of the first 18 for Eastern Washington. Parova, much needed 3 for the Beavers. What a start here in Corvallis. Best time of the year.
Absolutely, this is what we're seeing in March. We are in for a treat.
Eastern Washington has come to play. Leah Alexander lost it. Beers corrals it up to Hunter. Quick feed to Parova, tried to snap it down low to Gardner. What a steal. Some athletic balance on the baseline there from Jadia Martin.
Yeah, Martin, I love that play right there. You don't let up, you get back on defense. Big time defensive possession there.
Battle on the deck and a tie-up. Arrow would stay at this end.
A turnover, but Jada Martin does not give up. That is textbook 2-on-1 transition defense, the anticipation.
Eastern Washington playing in their first NCAA tournament since 1987. Unfazed right now. A pump fake from Loetta came up just short after another pretty move. When Oregon State needs to calm down a bit, Talia von Oldhoffen can help them do that. She has the ball right now. Down low to Beers, what a block. Oh, Martin, the denial.
Okay, whoa. Martin, it's not every day that we're seeing Beers getting blocked. Martin coming to play. Tipped it twice.
How about the timing on that?
Right?
That was ridiculous. Shot clock at 6, game clock 10 seconds left, and Beers gets a bucket to stem the tide. Now shot clock off for Eastern Washington, 4 seconds left in what's been a thrilling opening quarter. Loetta, did she get that off in time? Won't matter. Came up short, but a sparkling opening quarter performance from the Big Sky Player of the Year, Jamie Loetta. She had 11 points of Eastern Washington's 18. Eastern Washington up 18-15. The 14 seed underdog howling in Corvallis early.
Loetta has had an absolutely outstanding performance thus far. She's got 11 of their 18 points, and you're seeing her prowess, her facets of her offense all put on display. That mid-range game is something serious. The circus shot is something serious. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. She is carrying this team right now offensively.
I mean, Asia, it has not mattered what spot on the floor, who's defending her. When you need your biggest players to step up on the biggest stage, Jamie Loetta has been that all season long for Eastern Washington, a group that trailed in each of their Big Sky tournament games, won the Big Sky title over Northern Arizona to punch their ticket here. First NCAA tournament for them since 1987. And Beavers is fouled down low. You mentioned Eastern Washington, they can't afford to get down early today. They were down double digits in that game against Northern Arizona where they came back. Here they flipped that script over as Beavers a little shaken up after this foul.
We have another look at it here, but that's the ducking we talked about. She gets positioned so well, and that help side, they have to be there a lot earlier than then. That's why the foul was there. You got to do your work early, but credit the Beavers because they've had a few turnovers early, and the Eagles were able to score off of those turnovers. 10 points off of 8 Beaver turnovers, so I know Coach Ruick in that timeout said, hey, calm down, let's take care of the basketball, and let's get it in the Beavers.
Has been an easy resource all season long. She averages a double-double. Has had a hot start to this one. Beavers in double figures with 10 points. Loetta, the other players in double figures for Eastern Washington. Leah Alexander, 81 starts in 82 games as an Eagle, and you see why there. Her poise on display. Gardner down to Beavers. Those two came into Oregon State with one another. They have that inherent chemistry, and they hook up there for two.
Whether she's ducking in and getting that seal in front, she also can push players, push her defenders up the floor, and we saw that lob over. The help has to be there early.
Eastern Washington tried yesterday as hard as you possibly can to work on defending that. They double down low. Beavers. Von Oelhoffen able to settle that down. Lobs it up so high to Beavers, but you can do that.
But see how when Tamia got the ball there in the post, there were 3 Eagles there early. That's how it has to be every time, especially with Beavers.
Oregon State is hosting for the 5th time in the last decade, first and second rounds. They went 16-2 on this floor this year. Only 2 losses came without Reagan Beers. The NCAA Championship Final Four weekend starts April 5th with the Final Four and continues Sunday, April 7th, when we crown a champion. Every game is on the ESPN family of networks. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Going to be a fun stint here, just beginning for these two teams with big dreams for March. Shot clock at 4 for Loetta. Tough shot, strong, loose ball. Von Oelhoffen has it. Washington native Von Oelhoffen, averaging 10 points per game this year, hooks it around, and fouled is Gardner by Loetta. And Tamia Gardner will go to the line.
It's a really good pass there into Gardner, and that's a shot. She's able to make that shot there, but great pass and way to anticipate, get the contact. She just have to connect from the free throw line.
Oregon State head coach Scott Ruick told us he feels Talia Von Oelhoffen has the best court vision of any guard he's ever coached, and that's saying a lot because he's seen a lot of basketball, and that pass right there, prime example.
Absolutely. I mean, her attack down the hill, she puts pressure on the defense from that alone, but she's always looking. You got to have, no matter if you're on the perimeter or if you're a post in the paint right there, you always got to be ready for those passes.
Last season was the worst in a decade for Oregon State. Now they're back in the tournament, so Talia Von Oelhoffen, she's been on the worst team in a decade for this program that's been so consistent and she's also helped them get back to this stage that they were yearning to get back on this season. Tied up at 20 apiece with 7:52 to go in the second quarter. See Talia von Oelhoffen, the surgery that she went through last March. Fast forward a year later, selected as a 3 seed. How about that journey?
Yeah, resiliency and loyalty to the program. That's it right there.
Beers whips it out. Perova, she's a good three-point shooter. There it is, her second three of the game.
That's a prime example of how the Beavers can be absolutely nasty in their dynamic offense. All the attention on Beers. Did I mention she has a high IQ? It is an excellent passer out of the post as well, finding players on the perimeter that can connect and hit from three.
Listen to this Gill Coliseum crowd. Alexander tried to silence him. Board for Gardner. Now von Oelhoffen can settle things down. Two-woman game, she'll whip it out. Gardner, Perova, different corner. Around and out, nearly the same result. But the Beavs can reset.
They're just playing very poised, doing a lot better job just moving that ball around.
24-7 this season. This is what we've seen them do all year. Gardner, contested three, did not matter.
I love Gardner's game. Nothing I love more than a post player that can stretch it out and do what the guards do. And she's a guard forward, okay, so she has that versatility, but she's one of the best three-point shooters on this squad.
Perova, the birthday girl, with a birthday bucket in transition. Oregon State up 8 on an extended 11-0 run.
Absolutely, they have crossed the seas, come over to USA to watch their baby girl play, and she is showing up, showing out, putting on a show for her family and putting on for the Czech Republic.
The team circled up after shoot around and each said a word about how they feel about Dominica as Loetta gets a much needed answer out of the timeout there for Eastern Washington. Had her own birthday cake as well, given to her shoot around earlier today.
You talk about the words they said about her. There were 3 common words. It was fearless, funny, competitive.
Yep. She has it, and she's feeling it. 10 points, lost it there, though. This is the defense that got Eastern Washington off to a hot start today. Can they get back into that and get buckets off turnovers? Loetta at the controls, and see how vocal she is. Millie Knowles, 60-year player for the Eagles, came up short on the hook. 16 returning players for Eastern Washington. Practically the same team back-to-back years, just one new player. Down low, Beers, a bucket, and a foul.
That's easy money. That's all day, and that was Jaleesa Lawrence there that fouled her. She has to be there early. Watch here. Beers gets the ball. Look how late the help side is, and that's an easy foul all day. You have to be there before the catch. She might catch it over, you never know, but at least you have a chance to disrupt the pass.
Beers missed some time with injury around the middle stages of February with the fractured nose. You see she's wearing the mask, starting to get more and more used to wearing that. Playing in her first NCAA tournament game today. And she has been nothing short of spectacular with 14 points on 6 of 8 shooting early on for the Beavers. Step back. Bit strong there from Buckley. And now back come the Beavers. Perova, that's her shot. Wide open, you can't leave her. Cans another 3, it's her 3rd.
That's an absolute miscue from the Eagles. She just sat there wide open on the three-point line. You have to communicate and know where she is. Fan out to the shooter.
Perova and Beers have combined for 27 in this first half for Oregon State. A much-needed answer there from Millie Knowles, native of England, her 6th year with Eastern Washington, a record holder for most games in an Eastern Washington uniform. Beers got the early positioning. I could see you shaking your head early, Asia. When she gets that, it's kind of over.
It's just that easy. And she's got the strength, she's got the size advantage, but when you see the way she just goes in there and gets position, it is money. It is lethal every single time.
She averages 17 a game. She has 16 in the opening half. They go right to her again. There's her vision that you talked about. Rot strong, easy rebound for Knowles. Jamie Loetta got off to a red-hot start for Eastern Washington today at 11 early points. Perova, her second steal. Out and running, shovels it off to Von Olhoffen, who gets an easy deuce. And slow to get up on the baseline. Looks like Pettis there lost her shoe. Lead for Oregon State, meanwhile, up to 13 after the last steal and run out. Hope that Pettis is okay here as they work what appears to be an ankle. Got caught up with Perova on this transition play. We'll be back in a moment here to Corvallis. Of that split screen there, Oregon State owning this second quarter of action.
Absolutely owning it, and they're getting everything they want. 22 points, all in the paint. That's exactly what they want. They've hit some outside shots, but they're getting it done in the paint.
Aaliyah Alexander hit one out of the last timeout. Loetta rips down a rebound amongst the trees. Alexander, another drive, right-handed, couldn't finish. Third chance now for Eastern Washington. Is it the charm? With 3 minutes to go in the opening half. Down 13, largest lead for the Beavers. One-legged fade, and the roll couldn't go down for Loetta. Sela Heidi in the game now for Oregon State, 32 in white down low, giving Reagan Beers a well-deserved, I mean well-deserved breather. She has been spectacular. Offensive foul called here on Perova.
You talk about Heidi coming in. You got 6'4" with Beers leaving the court, but then 6'7" coming in the game. Have another look. Easy call there for the offensive foul there from Perova.
Sela Heidi, who checked in, both of her parents played for Oregon State. They were both post players, if you could imagine. By the way, Alexis Pettis did go back to the locker room after losing her shoe on the sequence before the commercial break, so we'll keep an eye on her status. Alexander off the mark, loose ball, shot clock didn't reset, didn't hit the rim. 3 seconds on the shot clock, they notice it. That shot strong had to rush it because the shot clock was dwindling down. A 20-4 run for the Beavers in front of their home crowd, which as per usual has packed historic Gill Coliseum for this first round 3 versus 14 seed matchup. Offensive foul called on Oregon State. And you mentioned to me earlier, Asia, Rice is a tough out. That's not an easy game.
Absolutely a tough out. I had them in the American Athletic Conference tournament. I mean, the numbers, the seedings, it matters, but it really doesn't. You always have to respect your opponent, but the parity in women's basketball can be anybody's game.
Jacinta Buckley buries a 3, back to a 10-point game. So final 90 seconds here. Eastern Washington's bench is back up. Can you maybe get a stop and get within single digits heading into the locker room?
And we have to remember, Jason, they got off to a hot start, but this is a team that's used to trailing games and making comebacks. So the Beavers can't take your foot off the gas at all.
Eastern Washington trailed by 10 in the Big Sky title game. Came back to win that against Northern Arizona. They nearly got a steal here. Now they're going to give it to Eastern Washington.
Loetta right in front of us. She was extremely happy about that, and as she should be. Look at the hustle, the bunnies that she got on that. It was a close call,
yeah,
but hey, went their way.
That's the Big Sky Defensive Player of the Year doing her work. Quick 3, a bit strong. Was a really good look, though, that time for Jadia Martin, who's knocked down 1 today. Had the reload opportunity, couldn't hit. Oh, what a work here from Aaliyah Alexander.
Yes, maximizing opportunity.
Third chance around and out. Nearly got it to go down on 3 opportunities, all of which were good ones just couldn't quite cash in. They do have Oregon State in a mini scoreless drought of a little over 3 minutes. Final half minute of this opening half. Wraparound feed, Beavers back in, getting buckets.
Yeah, that's too many players going over there guarding Perova. And granted, she's been on fire, but you got to know that Beavers is setting up right there, weak side, ready for the drop pass.
So many options. They've all grown so much individually from last year to this year. Shot clock off, 6 seconds for Eastern Washington. And a foul called. Oregon State did have a foul to give there. It's a good foul. Martin into the lane, into the teeth of the defense, but couldn't put the finishing touches on. And it's Oregon State that will take a 12-point lead to the locker room in this first round matchup between the 3-seed Beavers and 14-seed Eagles. Opportunities to get within single digits at the end of the opening half. They'll get the first offensive possession of the second half. Their first NCAA tournament game since 1987. Jamie Loetta, nice quick feed down to Knowles. Had to recorral it though, and that made the difference.
I think the Beavers did a better job adjusting from that first to second quarter with the way they were defending the ball screens. The bigs are in protect, but they were meeting Loetta up way too late. That's why she was hitting those mid-range shots. Now they're meeting her up the lane and recovering.
You and I were talking at halftime. You mentioned, of course, turnovers as well. Cut down on that. Made a big difference. Eastern Washington was forcing turnovers early on and getting out and running off of them. Millie Knowles will check out. Bella Hayes will check in for the Eagles. Leah Van Olhoffen's impeccable vision was on display practically every possession of the opening half. For the Beavers, nice give and go there. Van Olhoffen step back, came up short. Beavers went down. So did Martin. Now Eastern Washington can get set up.
And I want to give a shout out to Lawrence, 24 with the ball right here. She had a tremendous box out on Beers. Just took her away from that opportunity on the glass.
Aaliyah Alexander, that would have been a long two. Gardner comes in crashing the glass. This Beaver team can play in different ways. They can get out and run, but they want to look for the best shot. And the best shot has been going down low to Reagan Beers.
It's just that easy. Whether she's getting the bucket, whether she's going to the free throw line, that's exactly the focal point of the Beaver offense. Great things happen when you get it in the Beavers.
The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, and TNT with the start of the second round tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. For more information on tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. Texas A&M and Nebraska will follow this one here on ESPNU tonight. The winner of this one will play the winner of the A&M versus Nebraska game. That's a 6 versus 11. Here the 14 seed Eastern Washington, led by Jamie Loetta, who came up just short there. Down 13, this matches the Beavers' largest lead. Gardner, 6th player of the year in the Pac-12, gets fouled.
You talk about the versatility of the Beaver team. Gardner, we normally see her on the perimeter, but she's a big body. She can play in the paint as well, and it just speaks volumes to how dynamic and versatile these players are.
Lawrence checks out for Eastern Washington, her 3rd foul. You mentioned Gardner in different roles this year. She won Pac-12 6th Player of the Year, but has started the last 4 games. Began doing that when Reagan Beers went down with the nose injury. Beers back, but Gardner remaining in the starting lineup. Her production hasn't changed. Those two came in together. Now playing in their first NCAA tournament game together. Get a foul called on Marat.
Have another here. Look here at this foul. Got to give her some space. She completely took away her path of cutting, and that's why the foul was called there. You talk about Alexander. She's having a pretty slow night, and she's one of the go-to scorers for the Eagles.
She's a double-figure player. Oregon State's held her in check. This will stay at this end. Crowd not liking the contact. Eastern Washington nonetheless able to come up short there on the Loetta jumper. So couldn't get anything out of it. Still in search of points here in the second half. Dominika Parova at 13 points in the opening half. She averages 13 a game. Hunter will drop it down low. Beers goes up strong. Couldn't quite finish there. Can Eastern Washington capitalize on this window that they have off the stops will be the question mark.
And that's a great question, and that's the way they got to do it. They got to continue to get stops in the boards, maximize their opportunity. When you have a vet and a talent like Loetta, they are able to do that.
Hunter, the freshman, again, most of the time does not look like a freshman. Easy, smooth operator there.
She's exhausted enough minutes where we can say she is not playing freshman basketball. I mean, all the freshmen we've seen around the country, we've just been treated by the talent.
Parova, another one of those freshmen, mentioned how well she's played today. Alexander's fading jumper, Beers the board. Get a foul called here on Eastern Washington. So Hunter on the drive here, again, just so clean, so smooth.
Yeah, so smooth. The freshman, fearless. That's exactly how you can describe her. She's going to step up when needed, and she has a great job of balancing the passing and the scoring.
This Oregon State team lost in the Pac-12 semifinal to Stanford, won the night before in double overtime against Colorado. If that doesn't epitomize what it's like to play in the Pac-12 this year, I don't know what does. I mean, it was night after night going up against incredible competition that geared them up for this stage. They wanted to get back to, didn't make the NCAA tournament last year. Von Oelhoffen rains down the three.
When you talk about teams being prepared for this moment, the Beavers, the way the Pac-12 was set up, all the drama, all the parity, any of these Pac-12 teams you can say are well prepared for this tournament.
Just a miscue there, bit of a miscommunication. Leads to Oregon State having a chance to run out here. A pirouette in the paint, didn't lead to two.
Hey, get the hand off the dribbler!
Transition triple straight away, short though for Buckley. Oregon State went 16-2 on this floor this year. Very comfortable. Historic Gill Coliseum that they pack more often than not. We were told they have far and away blown away the first and second round attendance record in terms of ticket sales here for this weekend. And haven't even, we were told, Asia, counted the number of fans that are still coming in later for Texas A&M versus Nebraska.
Which is amazing. You have another look here. Excellent bucket. You talk about the fans and the fan base, and not all the tickets are even counted for yet.
Program and an atmosphere that Scott Rueck has played a pivotal role in building up. Here's Lawrence. I know you like her game. They want to get her going here. Foul called on Dominika Parova. The NCAA Women's Championship presented by Washington program. Jody Gleason is married to assistant coach Skip Gleason. We've talked about their leading scorer, Jamie Loetta. Her sister, Jordan Loetta, is on the staff as well. And we talked to Jody yesterday, and we asked her, who's the one when you can't stop thinking about a game to say, okay, we got to move on. we're at home. We got to move on. And they said they're pretty good with that. They're pretty good with that. Not easy, though. They've got other family members here today. Into the corner. They would love to see that three go down. Did not. Knowles couldn't track it down. Going to go back to the Beavers. But home basketball, good balance.
Great balance, yeah. Jody Gleason, she said that they do not do a lot of talk about basketball at the dinner table, which is great. It's awesome to have that balance, but even more awesome for the Eagles, the family atmosphere that they have with the team.
A lot of players from as close as 20 minutes away from campus. Oh, what a flyby there. Hansford couldn't hit the three. But it's been an incredible journey for both of these programs in different regard, in different ways to get here. Eastern Washington on this stage in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1987. After winning the Big Sky tournament title. Step back from Buckley. Long rebound and racing over to track it down is Pettis, who has returned to the floor. Went to the locker room earlier with an apparent ankle after losing her shoe. Kelsey Reese in the game now for Oregon State. Reagan Beers getting a breather. So is Talia Van Ohoffen. Kennedy Schuler at the point right now for the Beavers. Perova celebrating a birthday today. And an and one for the birthday girl. What a game for Dominika Perova. With her family traveling all the way from the Czech Republic. She has been incredible.
It is her birthday, but I'll tell you what, she is treating her family, and this is exactly what she can do. Her length, that quick first step, that explosiveness on that first step. She's also another hard guard and can create mismatches off the perimeter.
Perova averages 5 points per game, and today she's up to 15 at 13 in the opening half. Her career high is 16 points. Been a key part of an offensive explosion that started in the second quarter for Oregon State, a team that went 24-7 this year. You're seeing them for the first time tonight. They can get the job done inside and out. A lot of players who came back from last year. Jamie Loetta, nice job to carve in and get two.
Loetta is absolutely carrying this team offensively, getting it done on both ends of the floor. They're going to need her.
She has over half of their points. Gardner, high hop. Race for the rebound, and Schuler came up with it. Schuler was also a soccer player in high school. She was all-conference player of the year in soccer and basketball. Yesterday at practice, they saw her racing down the ball. That's the soccer hustle. You see it on display there, too. Lost it that time, though. Loretta on the move. Aaliyah Alexander, 14 points per game, but blocked from behind there by Hansford.
The luxury of having that length and that size around the perimeter specifically, as you see there with Hansford. Coach talked about it. He loves defense. Coach Ruick loves defense, and it bodes well for them with the length that they have and the versatility, able to guard it on the perimeter.
Asia, they call it defending the dam around here. That is the term they go with. And we're going to show you some more of them defending the dam.
Defending the dam, and that is the name of the game. Getting the ball into the paint offensively and defending the paint defensively.
They did get a foul called, and the dam that they play in, otherwise known as Bill Coliseum, is not happy. Buckley at the line. Don't forget, NCAA Women's Basketball Championship first round continues tomorrow at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ABC. Paige Beckers and UConn host Jackson State, and Caitlin Clark leads Iowa against Holy Cross. And ESPN has Kent State taking on Notre Dame at 2:15 Eastern, starts at 11:15 a.m. Pacific. And it's Juju Watkins, another Pac-12 star, and USC hosting Texas A&M Corpus Christi. All games are also available on the ESPN app. Nice feed down low, pretty possession. Will it turn into two? It will, off a second chance for Kelsey Reese.
That's another area where the Beavers are really great, is on the glass. And they've got the size. They've got that advantage there, so they got to continue pounding the paint, get on the glass, get defensive stops. You
said it earlier, take Beers out. Hey, you can put in 6'5" Kelsey Reese, who, by the way, made a Sweet 16 last year with Utah. Came points away, just moments away from possibly winning that game against LSU. Of course, LSU went on to win the national championship last year, but that was one of the games in the tournament last year that went kind of under the radar when it came to very close games. So Reese brings over some tournament experience from Utah to this group and some depth down low. They might keep her and Beers in down low in this lineup. They will. So you got a lot of height on the floor right now for Oregon State.
I mean, she's very versatile. She'll play out on the wing. Will also play at the 5.
Alexander found space, another block. It's Hansford again, using the length at 6'2". Oregon State's depth on display, late stages, third quarter. Reese, she can stretch the floor.
All that length and being able to put it up from beyond the arc is absolutely dangerous. The bench, how dynamic the Beavers are.
Quick answer on the opposite end from Loetta, has over half their points today with $1:10 to go in this third quarter. First round matchup, Texas A&M and Nebraska to follow. That's a 6 versus 11. It'll take place here in Corvallis. It has been defense to offense for Oregon State.
And that is the name of the game. I mean, Hansford with her length is just absolutely unstoppable. And then the length offensively, being able to connect on the perimeter from Reese. So dynamic.
They worked on these inbounds plays yesterday. Second chance opportunity. Perova's just doing it all. Got fouled down low.
And Perova, I mean, she's almost like a cheat code because technically, yes, she is a freshman, but she has so much experience with her overseas play where she's playing against pro players. So she has that, you know, pro player capability, and you see it in her floor game.
Oregon State crowd and applaud for Hansford, who will check out along with Schuler. And Adelie Blacklock checked in. They loved that because she's a crowd favorite here. Dominika Perova at the free throw line. Again, her family traveling all the way from the Czech Republic for this one. And she has had quite the game, matching her career high with 16 points today, 13 of which came in the first half. Bench points have been big time for Oregon State this season. They've got 21 today.
Yeah, they led the Pac-12 in bench points. So very key. Everybody's ready when their number is called. And the teams with depth and those players that can come in and get it done, those are teams that are going to find success in the tournament.
Jadia Martin able to drain a 3. A former Big Sky Freshman of the Year. The addition of Loetta when she transferred from Arizona State really helped out Jadia Martin. And now the Eagles can move again. Speaking of Loetta, goes lefty that time to finish.
This is exactly where the Eagles have found success early on. Can they continue to build off of this momentum, get stops and get the scores?
A little backcourt pressure now. Seeing Mata Peach for the first time for the Beavers, native of Berlin, Germany. Kick ball. 4.7 seconds left in the third quarter. Bella Hayes will check back in. Been a blend of her and Lawrence down low for Eastern Washington. Blacklock will go down low. Beers will have to get it up. And Beers went down, grabbing her ankle in distress right as the quarter ended. And in some serious pain. You're gonna see Reagan Beers here, who missed some time in February with the fractured nose, accidentally step on Bella Hayes' foot right before she went down at the end of the third quarter and was in a lot of pain. They took her back to the Oregon State locker room. Fortunately able to put weight though on the ankle. the silver lining coming out of that sequence and hoping that she is okay. So we'll keep an eye on her status and update you when we can and hope for the best with the Reagan Beers, who has had a spectacular season, has had a spectacular day in her NCAA tournament debut. She's got 19 points and 9 rebounds, has been a walking double-double all season long. Talia van Olhoffen into the lane here, one of the stars for this Oregon State team, as that was our Star Stories brought to you by Honda. Jamie Loetta, who's guided this Eastern Washington team to the NCAA tournament, first time since 1987. Got off to a red-hot start. It was Eastern Washington, if you tuned in late, that really threw the first punch in this game. Took an early 6-point lead, then Oregon State owned the second quarter, followed that up in the third quarter, and now find themselves in control, up 17, trying to punch a ticket to Sunday's second-round game, which will also be here in Corvallis in front of their home fans.
And they're going to have to continue to dictate that tempo. You can't take your foot off the gas when it comes to the Eagles.
Donovan Hunter drains the triple, a 30% three-point shooter. It has not mattered who's taken them today. The all-around, just collective strength of this Oregon State team on display. Gardner ripping down the rebound. Marat back in the game for Oregon State. Hunter, freshman from Medford, Oregon, down in the southern part of the state. Not sure how she found Gardner there, but did, and she found Van Olhoffen. Tapped out, and the rebound for J.D. Martin will give it up to Loetta. A lot of these Eastern Washington players have been on a journey together to get to this point. 16 returners. Just one new player for Eastern Washington. Elsie Reese, one of the new players for Oregon State this year. She has looked so poised off the bench.
You see what the Beavers look like without Beers on the floor. It is absolutely no problem. They've been in this before. Beers talked about with the nose injury. They're still able to get it done. Different looks with the way their post can play in the paint.
Answer from long range for Eastern Washington. Buckley able to bury the three. Well, a 19-point edge for Oregon State. We talked about that mid-February stretch where Oregon State did not have Beers. That is when Tamia Gardner entered the starting lineup, 30 in white, as Van Olhoffen goes down. Gardner, her sophomore partner in crime, but hoping her good friend is okay. Alexander. Beers has returned to the bench, by the way, and a good time to see her wearing the mask, too. And doesn't appear to be in pain right now, which she was moments ago. So that is a really good sign if you're an Oregon State fan.
It was scary seeing her in that pain, but she did walk off the court, which was the initial good sign, and even better, seeing her return to the bench, getting that sip of water.
Such a great person off the floor as well. Dynamic personality. Gardner, I mentioned, that's Beers' sophomore partner in crime. They came in together, played in the same Jordan Brand Classic game together. Gardner was the Pac-12 sixth player of the year. So much depth. High-arcing shot from Lawrence. Reese the rebound. Gardner leaking out. Easy bucket for Tamia Gardner.
I mean, we're just seeing why and how the Beavers are so strong, how dynamic they are. It is on display.
That was another all Pac-12 selection that just scored, and it prompts an Eastern Washington timeout.
That is going to be such a great matchup. A&M, they've got India Rogers back making a huge difference. And then Nebraska, I mean, they're playing some of their best basketball right now. And, you know, we saw that in the Big Ten championship. They came short to Iowa, but gave them a run for their money.
Very much a contrast of styles. Again, that one coming up next on ESPNU. Alexander a bit short on the three. Reese the rebound. She's been filling in for Beers since Beers went to the locker room after holding her ankle. Good to see Reagan Beers back on the Beaver bench. with the mask on that she's been playing with since fracturing her nose. Donovan Hunter dazzling this crowd with her handles in the corner. Reese couldn't cash in. It's been so tough, such tight real estate to try to work with down low.
Absolutely. But you look at this lineup here with the Beavers, the silver lining right now is they're taking advantage of getting practice and reps in with this lineup, which they're used to. Lots of more dribble drive. You got both posts with Reese and Gardner that can step out and hit from beyond the arc.
We'll stay at this end. It's been a really fun start here in Corvallis to see Oregon State head coach Scott Rueck there guided this program to a Final Four in 2016. He knows about postseason success and how to coach a team to it. In his 14th season watching this group that he really loves coaching. Alexander. Nice strong rebound from Martin, tapped out. It'll go into the Eagle bench and back to the Beavers. Talk about Oregon State's success over the years. Scott Rueck took over in 2010-11. The program was really building up from the ground up at that point. And not too long after, again, they made that Final Four in 2016. Scott Rueck was named Pac-12 Coach of the Year this year by the league media as Donovan Hunter is fouled. And it's an Oregon State team that was picked to finish 10th in the Pac-12 preseason poll. They, of course, here didn't believe that, believed in themselves before anyone else did, but also said to us there was no real reason for anyone to put us higher than that because of last season, won 13 games. This year, 10-plus win jump. But that starts behind the scenes, and you've been in those practices, those early morning workouts where no one's envisioning you getting here yet, but you got to put in the work to get here.
Absolutely, and they've done just that. These are players that are students of the game. They're always taking notes, watching film. They play hard, and more importantly, they play for each other. You could see it in the chemistry.
This Eastern Washington team has prided themselves on their chemistry. Loetta's cooled down in the second half, but had a spectacular start to the game. Eastern Washington won 29 games this year. That was up 10 from last year. Still fighting late in this game. Down 25. They come up with the steal here. It was what they did well early. They forced Oregon State into turnovers. Loetta perusing. Will whip it out to Gallatin, who's checked in. Under 5 to go in the fourth. Gotta give it to the birthday girl, Dominika Parova, who has shown out today, Asia.
Yeah, happy birthday, Parova. 19, Jason, might be the magic number. As she's celebrating her 19th birthday, you see her family there absolutely happy with her performance. But this is nothing less than what we expect. She is absolutely talented. One of those freshmen who we say isn't playing like a freshman.
I see what he did there, 19 for 19.
19 for 19.
Her family traveled from the Czech Republic for this weekend. Ella Gallatin at the free throw line. And for the fourth straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. Fun time of the year, just getting started up. These teams with big dreams. Reese gets doubled and tied up.
Yeah, I think next level for Reese there is she does not need to bring the ball down at all. Not when you're standing at 6'5" and have the clear height advantage.
Get a foul called down low here. They're going to get Murat. A.J. Murat, Austin, Texas native. That time the three goes down. Buckley, her third triple. Buckley's a player that Jody Gleason calls her secret sauce throughout the course of what's been a spectacular year for the Eagles.
Secret sauce indeed, because she's just so versatile. She's that player that really exposes mismatches for the Eagles.
It's a 13-game winning streak that the Eagles came into this game on. Poured all of their hearts out into this season. Appears as though it's going to come up short for them, but what a journey it's been to get to this NCAA tournament. Their first since 1987, something that has been huge for their program, huge for their university.
Making strides like this, making history, that's how you bring in recruits, and that's how you continue to build the program. I mean, Coach Gleason already talked about the culture, but people watching this game right now, especially those local kids from Washington, I know they have their eye on this program.
A lot of them are local, from as close as 20 minutes away from campus. Number of Washington natives. Transition triple. Nice board from Buckley, able to bank it home. When Oregon State's been in the NCAA tournament over the last decade, they've had success. They're picking up where they left off after a 2-year hiatus from being in the NCAA tournament. Back at home, hosting, which they've done 5 times over the last decade, and have been cruising since the second quarter. Second chance opportunities, a key part of that. Gonna get a foul called here. A little over 2 to play. Don't forget, Nebraska and Texas A&M coming up on ESPNU in about 30 minutes. We'll have that one for you.
And I know both teams, they're back in the locker rooms here watching this game, and I know they're thinking, we get it done tonight first, but next matchup, they gotta
Jamie
lock
Lowe.
going.
Yep, saw Jamie Loetta checking out there. Likely the final time for her in this game, this NCAA tournament game that she played a pivotal role in guiding them to the Big Sky Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year as Gardner gets the bucket.
And just down the line, everybody, every Eagle there on the bench just embracing her. I mean, this is a talented kid.
Her sister Jordan is on the coaching staff. She's a really good player herself at Oregon. And Scott Ruick actually coached against Jamie's sister Jordan. Leah Alexander, a player who has such a bright future ahead. Redshirt sophomore, averaging just under 15 a game.
So much emotion, so much emotion, so much love. What Loetta's been able to do for this program, what she's done in the Big Sky Conference. She's a player that you will never forget. She's a leader.
How about how she came out just absolutely swinging today? Got her team out to an 8-point lead. Scored 11 of the first 18. Big Sky MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. A.J. Marat and Donovan Hunter check out for Oregon State. Cedar Adderley will check in. Tamia Gardner checks out as well, to the applaud of this Gill Coliseum crowd. Final minute Oregon State gonna lock up a ticket for Sunday in the second round. Oh, a dicey move there in the lane from Kennedy Schuler. And the Oregon State bench loves it.
I mean, it's been their game. They've gotten everything they wanted. The bench being able to show what they can do. I know they're going to go into this next matchup with a lot of confidence.
Eastern Washington able to get Andy Zylak into the game for the first time. Spokane, Washington native from about 20 minutes away from campus. They also get Corey Wilcox in, the redshirt freshman, another Washington native, and draining a bucket is Adley Blacklock, who this Oregon State crowd adores. By the way, another update on that Oregon State bench. It's really good to see Reagan Beers up and smiling after she went down in pain earlier. Appears to be okay. 19 points, 9 boards for Beers today, one of the premier forwards in women's college basketball.
I mean, they said she's their team's biggest cheerleader. We see her as a beast on the court, but just such a sweetheart and such a great person off the court.
Addison Hall able to check in as well for the first time for Eastern Washington, along with Bree Schuler. And they're going to dribble it out. And Oregon State, they're dancing again this year, and they're going to dance into the second round. A 22-point first-round victory for the Beavers in front of their sold-out home crowd here in Corvallis.